The rarest skin patterns in Counter-Strike 2.
How is it going? I'm
Ooh,
Jiggin.
I like the
I will present
thumbnail.
you
He's showing the fucking Minotaur on the Minotaur's Labyrinth UMP. Which we own the #1 lowest float one of, by the way. This may be a watch.
the rarest and most unique skin pattern seeds on Counter-Strike 2. If you're a skins enjoyer, there is a chance that you'll know most of these already. So in that case, when you're done with the video, let me know how many of these you actually
Let me
knew.
see.
So without further ado, let's jump right into the first skin. Coming up first, we have the Orb Silk Tiger
Sexy.
seed pattern 135. And what makes this one unique is the fact that the tiger's mouth is perfectly in line with the trigger, making it seem like he has a long fang. There is also a seed number 652, which also lines up quite nicely, making both of them really creative, unique patterns.
Yeah.
Next up, on the topic of
But cool to know in general, if you didn't know that that this one has pattern indexes, you can have a centered lion and stuff.
snipers, we have the Orb Paw seed number 350.
Cool.
As you have probably already realized, the golden cat is perfectly centered in the middle, making this pattern stand out way more than any other pattern seed on this orb. But the 350 is not the only one that features the cat in the middle, as seed number 41 also has him, but just slightly lower, making it the second best version after 350. But if you're
Yeah, I was about to pull it up, chat. Pattern-X 420 literally has this stoned fucking cat right in the middle. How random is that? This is Pattern-X 420.
not the biggest fan of the golden cat, maybe you'll like the stoner cat more. This is, believe it or not, pattern seed number 420. This was most probably done deliberately by the skin creators,
Nah, I
but
don't think
either
so.
way, very cool. Next up, we have the Galil Phoenix Blacklight, and this skin
So underrated. We keep seeing this one on the big stage during tournaments. A Na'Vi player has the Galil with the perfectly centered Phoenix. I think it's Perfecto. Nee, huh? Is it one of the current? Who has it, chat? Does Bit have
is
it?
pretty underrated in my opinion.
One guy on Na'Vi has the Galil with the
The
perfect
only time
pattern.
I actually saw it in game, this is what it looked like. I mean, it still looks decent, but if you get your hands on the 7.5
One of my favorite Galils. By far. This looks so sexy in game as well.
5, you will have a perfectly centered eagle head.
Bit has it,
Unfortunately, there are only 36 of them in the world, so it will
Wow.
be pretty hard to get your hands on one of them. But luckily, there's a lot of other pattern seeds that have the eagle head in the middle, but the only flaw is that the head is not as perfectly centered as the one in 755. It wouldn't be a unique pattern video if I didn't include the 5.7 Cami.
909.
First off, we have the most famous one, the
Mit dem Kitzler, the only original.
909.
Wow. What a high-res pussy.
But there are also other seeds that have the same concept, and it's the 590, 204, and 90. Not the worst
Yeah, but it's never gonna be the real deal.
alternatives actually, and it still does the job. But what if I told you that the Cami is not the only skin in which the
The VJJ.
pattern is possible?
Quads.
First up, we have the P2000 Oceanic Seed 857, which there are currently over 1400 copies of. And for the second option, we have the 57 Silver Quartz Seed number 962, which we have just over 1100 copies of. But going back to the 57 Cami, it also has some other cool patterns, such as the 167 looking like a worried face, the 376 looking like a
I love this pattern. I actually bought one, didn't I? I remember we watched a video on it, and then I immediately went to buff. Yeah, you already know, bro. Suck. Factory new. Fucking walrus. Ah, boom.
walrus, or the 537 looking like a smiley.
that's sick.
Next up, we have the dual Beretta switchboard seed number 80, and this particular seed has the letters LOL written on the weapon, which I
Lol.
think is pretty cool. On the topic of
I didn't know about
pistols, though, the P2000 Granite Marbleized
Hamster.
has
Classic.
two animal faces on the rear of the gun. Seed number 125 has a cute little hamster face, and seed number 235 has a sloth face. And lastly, the Tech 9 cracked opal seed number 832
Penis.
has a dick on the back of the closest handle. On the topic of cocks, we have the Alt Boom seed number 97.
Who remembers OG as fuck stream when I was doing, I think, a case battle or something, or just opening cases with Anomaly, and we were both hunting the penis pattern on this.
But 832 has a dick on the back of the closest handle. On the topic
That was
of cocks,
ages
we have
ago.
the Alt Boom seed number 97, and as you have probably already realized, the circle gap on the handle fits perfectly in between the letters C and CK, forming the
Classic.
obvious word here. Seed 97 is not actually the only seed that forms this word, as there are a couple more such as 503, 266, 312, 587, and 6. Next up, we have the Op Pop, and this one is also pretty common in the community, as has the seeds 206, 209, 373, 826, and 866 all
This
have
is still the stupidest one with the fucking
the little
Among Us
guy
pattern.
on the tip of the weapon. And for the last op, we have the Acheron, or Acheron, however you pronounce it, which is a pretty uncommon op as it just doesn't look the greatest. However, the seed pattern 205 has these two centered skulls, which actually looks really cool. Switching up the theme a little bit, we will now mention a Galil Sandstorm patterns 583 and 761. As you can see, usually this skin comes in 3 different colors and it just doesn't look too appealing. But the 2 patterns I mentioned earlier turn the entire weapon purple, which I think is really
Lovely.
cool. Next up, we have the UMP45 Minotaur's Labyrinth, and before I continue talking about this skin, I just want to quickly show you what the actual skin template looks like. As you can see, Minotaur is pretty tiny compared to the Labyrinth. That's why any pattern seed with him visible anywhere on the skin is already a big plus. But preferably, you do want to have him somewhere in the middle for the best effect. After going through every possible pattern, I found that 9 and 256 were the 2 best options, followed up by 942, 98.
Which one is ours? Let me see, bro. This one is still one of my favorite skins ever. Ever. This one right here, bro. 272. This is not just any UMP Labyrinth. This is the lowest float one, and it happens to have the fucking the Senator centered, bro. How crazy is that?
82 and 729. There
Number
are actually
2?
many
9. It didn't get beaten, no? Nee, this is still number 1. Stop saying number 2, bro. You're actually getting me scared. That one did not get beaten.
more seeds with Minotaur chilling around the middle, but the 5 I mentioned were the most
If that one gets beaten, I'm actually mad. Why are you saying people off?
good ones out of them all. On the topic of SMGs, we have the Mac 10 Last Dive, and to be perfectly honest, I never even realized that this was a pattern-based skin. Even though this skin has a lot of cool patterns, the one that stands out the most is definitely seed number 509. The skull placement, the snake, and everything around it just looks really good. And for the last weapon skin, we have the MP5 SD Labrat. The skin itself is pretty dull and not appealing whatsoever, but the seed 514 actually has the rat
This one's actually sick.
nicely visible on the barrel, which is definitely the best position on this weapon. But there are actually 2 more seeds that have the rat visible. First one is the seed number 133, which
This red is as well like very rare on the pattern template.
has the rat on the tip of the weapon. And the second one is seed number 625, which has the rat on the main body above the trigger. And lastly, I wasn't going to touch up on the case hardened patterns as I feel like that can just be a separate video in itself, but I just couldn't make a video like this and not include the famous dig pattern huntsman knife, seed number 190. Very iconic knife with only 6 copies in the entire world. And that'll be it for this video. If there are any other cool seed
Classic. I enjoyed that. Suck. That was chill. Chill Dutch voice. You already know. Boom.